Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen on the internet. This is another episode of your three favorite people that like to talk about kooky things. And no, we're not your crazy uncle. But I'm going to go ahead and run the intro, and then we'll introduce ourselves again. See you in a bit. Hey, if you're new to the channel, my name is Ike. I host another podcast on the same channel called Seriously Cast. And to my, I think it's my left, we have, go ahead and introduce yourself. Go ahead, Nick.
I am Nick, and I do this podcast. Sometimes I sub in on the other podcast when the other guy can't show up, which
Lazy.
that's not that often. Yeah, lazy. I like weird shit, and so that's why I'm here.
Awesome. And to his left,
Hi, I'm Teresa. I do not do the other podcast, so this is the only one I. And yeah, I'm into beyond stuff that you could say would be on the sixth senses. I have a big fascination for that, and I've always had an interest in it. So that's why I'm joining the podcast.
can you center yourself into frame a little bit more? Yeah, there we go. Because you're sitting, you're like, I'm gonna talk over here.
Well, my right is my left, and my left is my right.
Yeah, it happens.
It's that pimp lean, bro.
Okay. Well, let's just jump into it, I guess. Oh, god damn it. I'm not Philip DeFranco. Jesus. Okay, here we go. I've been watching a Netflix documentary because I went down a rabbit hole looking into stuff about MK Ultra. This is a documentary called Wormwood. It's about this guy named Frank Olson. And so I'm going to play some of this. Oops, didn't mean to mute that. So, what was it, in the 50s?
What were you told at the time of your father's death?
I was told that your father has had an accident. But that was the cover story told by the CIA.
Okay, so this Frank Olson guy, he died in 1953, and so they determined it was a suicide, and the U.S. government didn't had the family come in like a decade later and apologize directly to the family. The president did. And it's never been heard of that the president would do something like that, apologize for his death when it was a suicide. Why would they apologize? And then they kept, the family filed a wrongful death suit against the government. And the government's like, no, we're going to settle out of court. And the government pretty much forced them to settle out of court because had it gone to court, documents that were linked to MK Ultra would have been made available to the public. And so there's a story in the documentary where this guy Frank and a few other people went to a lake house with some CIA operatives, and they laced them with what they called at the time a truth serum, which turned out to be LSD. And so this is it here. Let's see here. It says a retreat scheduled at a cabin at Deep Creek Lake for Wednesday, November 18th, Friday, November 20th, 1953. A tentative participant list included 11 names. So you got all these people here were the people that were drugged by the CIA without their knowledge. And so this is the same year that he quote unquote killed himself. He jumped out of like a 10th story floor of a hotel room. But let's see here.
So
Let's
hence
see,
the scene we just saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it here on this Wikipedia page? Around 2 a.m. the morning of Saturday, November 28th, 1953. So this isn't too long after the drugging incident. Olson plummeted onto the sidewalk in front of the Statler Hotel. The night manager rushed to Olson, who was still alive and who tried to mumble something. Olson died before medical help arrived. Years later, the night manager recalled In all my years in the hotel, I've never encountered a case where someone got up in the middle of the night, ran across a dark room in his underwear, avoiding 2 beds, and dove through a closed window with the shades and curtains drawn. So it's kind of shady.
Yeah, it's very shady. And with the whole MK Ultra thing, man, they were drugging everybody with LSD back in the 50s.
Like some of the stuff
Hardcore research. Yeah.
some of the stuff I ran into was the bunch of Korean POWs, they were drugging them with LSD. It's fucked up is what that is.
Yeah, I think there was, God, I'd have to look it up, but I'm fairly certain that there was an incident where the CIA drugged like an entire town.
Oh Jesus. Like I found an entire web page of freedom of information requests and like documents, but none of them are longer than like a page, and it's just like a news article. So I couldn't find anything that was actually government released on this.
Right.
That was only
I
like
don't
maybe
know that we ever will.
probably not. I don't think the government wants to admit to drugging people.
Yeah.
Well, they did with that building, that single building. They did back in the 60s. I'm trying to recall reading that, and it was the whole building.
Wait, they drugged an entire building?
Yep.
Here, let me see here. Let's open up this really quick. So we got the Project MK Ultra on Wikipedia here. Here's a document, declassified MK Ultra document right here. I'm not gonna fucking read that. Let's see here. Project MK Ultra, or MK Ultra, is the code name given to a program of experiments on human subjects that were designed and undertaken by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, some of which were illegal. Experiments on humans were intended to develop procedures and identify drugs such as LSD to be used in interrogations in order to weaken the individual and force confessions through brainwashing and physical torture. The project was organized through the Office of Scientific Intelligence of the CIA and coordinated with the United States Army Biological Warfare Laboratories. Other codenames for drug-related experiments were Project Bluebird and Project Artichoke. Another part about this is they were researching like mind control and like telepathy and stuff.
They were.
Yeah.
And they would talk about that. They never
Remote
wanted-
viewing and stuff.
I 100%. I want
Things.
Sorry, yeah, Stranger Things is based on it too.
Yeah.
I 100% guarantee we're probably going to be put on a list now.
Oh, I've been on a list since I joined the military back in the day, dude.
They're gonna watch us. They're watching us now.
So if you wanted to read about the whole town that was supposedly drugged in 1951, it's Pont Saint-Esprit in France.
Pont Saint what?
Here, I'll just drop the link for you.
Yeah, that's
Hold on.
let's pull that up. There we go. Let's take a look here. There we go. So 1951, Pont Saint-Esprit mass poisoning. Wow. The 1951 Pont Saint-Esprit mass poisoning, also known as Le Pain Maudit, I've totally botched that, was a mass poisoning on 15th of August 1951. So this is around the same time of like 2 years prior to the poisoning of Olsen. In the small town of Pont Saint-Esprit in southern France, more than 250 people were involved, including 50 people interned in asylum, and 7 deaths of a foodborne illness was suspected, and among these was originally believed to be a case of cursed bread. What?
Yeah, if you go down to on the contents to other theories where it says conspiracy theory, it talks about the possibility of the Central Intelligence Agency using LSD on the whole population.
Let's see. In his 2009 book, A Terrible Mistake, author Hank P. I'm not even going to try that. Jr. originated a conspiracy theory claiming that the Special Operations Division of the Central Intelligence Agency, which was the same people that Olsen worked with, tested the use of LSD on the population of Pont Saint-Esprit as part of MK Naomi, biological warfare program in a field test called Project Span. Historian Steve Kaplan called I'm not even a theory called his theory harebrained and clinically incoherent. Nothing that LSD does not cause the digestive ailments and effects reported by the townspeople, and typically takes effects in just hours, whereas the inhabitants showed symptoms only after 36 hours or more.
Yeah.
Well, of course,
Now-
somebody that works for the government's gonna say this is bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, I've never experienced LSD myself, but my kind of brother-in-law, he's a forest hippie, and he's definitely done LSD. And he's talked about where sometimes if you have too much of a good thing, it does make you sick.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, just like anything, if you have
I
too
don't
much
know.
of any kind of body altering chemicals, like beer, yeah, it'll make you sick. Like
Yeah,
I'm still
sugar.
I'm still hungover as fuck from last night.
Yeah, sugar will do it. Fucking caffeine will make you sick. I mean, hell, if you drink too much water, you'll definitely
Yeah.
puke your guts out.
You can
It'll
get
kill ya.
you can get water poisoning. I've actually looked
Yeah.
into that at one point. It sounds funny, but it's
Water.
real.
Yeah, it's extremely painful. The weirdest thing about water poisoning is that you start feeling dehydrated, and so you keep drinking water, and what's happening is your cellular walls are actually starting to erode and they start to burst.
Mhm.
And that's part of the mechanism that makes you feel thirsty, because nothing is going where it's supposed to. And like the easiest way to fix that is with a strong diuretic and infusion of electrolytes. So don't drink too much water, guys.
Too much of a good thing does exist.
Yes, very much so.
Okay. Let's move along here. I don't have
Right.
I don't have a good segue, so insert segue here later.
Yes.
Okay. Since I've got this pulled up, you want to talk about? We'll play a little bit of this. This is
Yeah,
close.
do the unacknowledged one first. If
Okay,
you
we'll
would.
do unacknowledged first. There we go. I'll go ahead and play a little bit of this.
How do you keep something secret?
How do you
hide
keep
it in
something
plain sight.
secret?
July 8, 1947. The flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If you look at the document sent to J. Edgar Hoover, 3 so-called flying saucers had been recovered in New Mexico. It has become the #1 document viewed on the FBI website.
This guy's insane.
Yeah, so Dr. Stephen Greer kind of started out a lot more plausible than he ended up turning out to be, in my opinion. He's got a lot of good information in this film, Unacknowledged. That's why I was saying start with this one.
Mm-hmm.
It goes over a lot of the documents and events that have happened and things that have been released over the years and talked about by different people who have like firsthand experience, and he's done interviews with people. So Unacknowledged is an excellent film that talks about different things that were worked on. He does interviews with all kinds of people. Now the next one, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. This is where Dr. Stephen Greer starts getting like, I don't know, fucking New World crazy on me.
Would you say
And
he
he starts,
would you say he jumped the shark on this one?
yeah, for sure. So I'd recommend watching it, but keep yourself what's the word I'm looking for? Keep yourself with like a massive shaker of salt while watching it.
Yeah. What is it? What is it? Trust but verify.
Yeah. So he talks more about documents and events and stuff that have happened, but then he starts going on about how you can get like this giant prayer circle and summon UFOs, and I was sitting there going, what?
Yeah, no, I watched
Okay,
about
yeah, I see that too.
I watched about half of this movie, and I got to that part. I'm like, Okay, there is power in prayer. Yes, it's like collective thoughts and kind of that kind of thing. You can control like different aspects of our reality in that way in
Yes,
certain
you
ways.
can. Frequency.
But
frequency.
summoning UFOs,
Yeah, I
Well,
understand the
supposedly
idea that
telepathy they have, is a lot greater than what supposedly we have advanced ourselves to be. So it's
I
beyond time
I
and
can
space.
understand everything as a wave, and brain waves are on the whole the spectrum of light and sound and radio waves and all that kind of stuff. But I highly doubt that a group of like 12 people dressed in hippie clothes up on a hill are gonna summon a fleet of UFOs. I mean, I'll be the first one to say I've never gone up on a hill in hippie clothes and done a prayer circle with flowers to summon a UFO.
Oh, you just
But
admit it.
if
So
I
you
go,
don't believe in
if
channeling?
Kept
if
interrupting.
somebody wants to take me up on a hill and dress me in hippie clothes with flowers and a UFO comes, I will completely change my stance on the subject.
I know what we're
So-
doing next week.
So Dr. Stephen Greer, he's got a lot of really good information. He's a ufologist. I believe that is he a physicist or something? I can't remember exactly what his background is, but he
Let's
does
see
have a
here.
doctorate in something.
Yes, he is
He's a
a
physician.
medical doctor.
Yeah.
Medical doctor.
Let's see here. I don't see any. It doesn't say in the first line what he's a doctorate of.
If you look over on the
career.
right-hand side underneath his picture,
Oh, there it
says
is.
occupation, physician, retired, and then ufologist is the official one he's at right now. One of the things, if you click on that picture of him and bring that up real quick,
for what I remember.
The one thing about this guy, he is the only ufologist I've ever seen that is that jacked. I wouldn't tell him to his face that I don't believe in his hippie stuff. He would punch me and like rip a hole in my face.
It's
this
like
guy
that.
Is super jacked.
Do you ever see that video where this guy goes up to Buzz Aldrin and tells him that the moon landing was fake? And there's a video of Buzz Aldrin full on punching this guy in the face.
Yep.
Yeah. So when I first watched Unacknowledged, the first thing that I said, I'm sitting there watching it with my roommate a few years back, and I was just sitting there going, "Fuck, that guy's jacked."
Don't make me laugh when I'm drinking. Don't make me laugh while I'm drinking. Jesus.
The first one, Unacknowledged, really good.
It is.
Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, just kind of take that one with a grain of salt if you watch it.
Just like
do your own research. Don't believe everything that you hear and see. So the next one I want to talk about, Bob Lazar's Area 51 and Flying Saucers.
Here, I'm going to play a little bit of this real quick.
So is this the Close Encounters one?
No, this is Area 51.
The story.
Bob Lazar.
Okay, yeah, Bob Lazar.
Especially if it's true. And it all started in the desert, just north of Las Vegas.
A local scientist who's worked at Groom Lake
said to be where top-secret weapons systems have been tested over the years.
He has asked that his identity be shielded.
Exactly what's going on up there?
What's going on up there could be the most important event in history. Physical contact and proof from another system, another planet, another intelligence.
What would happen to you if the government learned that you were giving us this information?
He just wanted to stay alive. Maybe this has been kept from us for a good reason.
Sir, how do we know you are who you say you are?
You don't.
My name's Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
I'm known for working at a classified base and reverse engineered alien spacecraft.
What?
Went all over.
Whoa.
Yep.
That's a thing.
So Bob Lazar.
I'm gonna pull up his wiki.
So back in the day, Bob Lazar, he says that he worked at Groom Lake because Area 51 is not the actual. Supposedly, Area 51 is not the actual place where they have like the alien shit. It's actually over at Groom Lake, which is just off in a different small area next to Area 51, near all of the nuclear test sites and stuff in the desert.
Oh.
So he claims that he worked at Groom Lake and he was one of the physicists that was hired to reverse engineer these drive systems, these anti-gravity systems, to figure out what their fuel source is. He claims that he was the person who helped examine and discover element 115, which at that point in time hadn't been synthesized, but we have now element 115, which is called moscovium.
What the fuck is element 115?
So element 115 is moscovium. It's something that is a synthetic chemical element, meaning they had to break down other stuff, and then they couldn't break it down further. And that was discovered in 2003 by some Russian scientists and stuff. But anyhow, he claims that he had seen all kinds of incredible technologies while he was working at Groom Lake. And this movie, Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers, kind of goes over a bunch of that stuff. And it really kind of focuses on his time at Groom Lake, things he saw, the people that came after him after he broke the news of all this stuff in 1989, despite the fact that they kept his face blacked out. They kind of shifted his voice a little bit. He still claims that people were able to figure out who he was. They came after him. They shot at him regularly. Like they raid his. He runs a nuclear scientific equipment and supply store.
Yeah, that's what it says on his wiki.
Yeah, they come in there all the time trying to find the sample that he claims that he took from Groom Lake. But he says he doesn't have it anymore. But I mean, who knows? You know.
Now, wasn't the sample supposed to be of a magnetic or a specific metal that could not be from Earth, supposedly?
It was what he called element 115, which we now call moscovium. Is element 115 on the periodic table, but I mean, who knows if it's the same thing? Who knows if it even existed in the first place? You know, this is all stuff where you got to kind of believe this guy if you want to think that he's telling the truth. You know, is he telling the truth? Is he not?
Well, it's like Captain America's shield, basically. It's a little different.
Captain America's shield is made out of vibranium.
Yeah. Well, that is a pure work of fiction, whereas this is somebody who claims to have worked there, and there is evidence of him being raided multiple times by the feds at his place of work. So, are they raiding him for this thing that he claimed that he had took back in the day, or are they raiding him because maybe his license was about to expire for some chemical that he has at his shop? You know, who knows? But this guy, so far, this guy has been like the most level-headed, sort of credible person that I've ever seen when it comes to the subject of UFOs. He's like a million times more level-headed and concise, and makes more sense than Stephen Greer.
Why is this not working?
I mean,
damn it! Sorry about that, guys.
It's all good, dude. Yeah, he's never claimed to ever summoned a UFO. So I mean, there is that.
We're probably gonna get an echo from you guys because my headset's really loud and I'm trying to figure out how to turn it down. I can't. So we're just gonna have a little bit of an echo.
Yeah, that's whatever. There's worse things in the world.
Sorry about the bleeps there for a minute.
Your DoorDash is here. Yeah.
I'm mainly apologizing to people listening on the audio podcast.
Yeah, they're sitting there like, what the fuck is going on?
I might go through it. I'll go through it before I put it on the audio podcast. I'll remove those.
Yeah, so the interesting thing, he's been charged with multiple crimes. If you go down to where it says criminal convictions. So 1 year after he broke the news, they tried to
prostitution rate.
Yeah, they tried to claim that this guy was a pimp. And if you go back up and look at his picture again, all right?
Yeah.
That's not the face of a pimp.
Well, it's the 90s. It was during the Clinton, what was it, Reagan era.
Yeah, so this is when he was in Nevada still, and they reduced it to pandering, which he pleaded guilty, felony pandering, 150 hours of community service, and he couldn't go to a brothel, which prostitution is mostly legal in Nevada.
Yeah,
you got to go to like
Vegas.
state. Yeah, you got to go to state sanctioned brothels.
I think
So
it's per zip area, like what is a county per county.
Yeah. So then 2006, Bob Lazar and his wife were charged with taking a hazardous chemical across state lines.
Isn't that
because they sold it to somebody legally, and they were gonna go visit this person or something like that, and they got charged a felony for this, despite the fact that it was a legal sale, and if he would have sent it through the mail, it would have been fine. But instead, he's like, I'll just throw it in my car and I'll just go take it to him.
Wait, oh my god, that's so stupid.
Right? That is stupid. And then 2007, he was fined $7,500 for violating a law prohibiting the sale of chemicals and components used to make fireworks, illegal fireworks, which I don't know that there's very many illegal fireworks in Nevada.
Well, I think if you build your own, they might be illegal without a license.
Yeah, but I mean, how are you supposed to learn how to do it? You can't just go get a license to build fireworks if you haven't built fireworks, you know. It's the same thing with like distilling. You can't make a distillery without having first illegally distilled alcohol.
What is it? During Prohibition, when the president signed Prohibition, like the amendment to end Prohibition, the day that it went into effect, brewery delivered like 16 cases of beer to the White House, which means that they had been making it when it was illegal to make it.
There's a lot of records that have come out that shows during Prohibition, the White House had all kinds of fucking parties, just alcohol parties like crazy.
What is it? When JFK signed the embargo on Cuba, he bought like cases and cases of Cuban cigars like the day before he signed the embargo.
Yep. Do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, just
fucking hypocrites.
Just a slight aside for a second. Back on Prohibition. My great grandmother, her last name was Shelton. And she was the sister of the guys that ran the Shelton gang. And I can't remember exactly what state it was. It was like Oklahoma or something like that. And there was a Time magazine article about them. And I think they were on the cover of it. And it called them the America's Bloodiest Gang. Because they were...
God, I'm trying to remember. So I remember you telling me about that. I don't remember if I told you about the two groups in my family. So on my dad's side, there was two different groups. One of them was a group of like fucking bank robbers all throughout Washington.
Nice.
And they eventually all got arrested, and I think one of them got killed. And then the other one, it was I think my dad's great grandfather or great uncle or some shit like that. But little kid during Prohibition, the liquor, the bootleggers would hand him this bucket and tell him to go down and knock on a door and hand the other guy the bucket, take the money, and bring it back. And so this kid was just walking around with a big old bucket of booze, and he's delivering it to speakeasies all throughout the Seattle area, I think it was, or maybe Spokane, one of those two big cities.
So
yeah, just fucking crazy.
I have nothing in the family like that.
So my great, this is really hilarious. My great grandmother's parents, like her. So my great, I don't know. But they didn't want to have anything. They didn't want to have anything to do with the rum running business. So the Shelton brothers bought them a hardware store in Cedro Woolley, and they ran it until they ran out of money. and they had to close it. And then they bought him another one. In fact, there was one of the Shelton brothers still was alive up until like 1989 and lived in Florida.
Oh wow!
Yeah, crazy. Sorry, that was
no kidding. It's kind of fun to get on these weird tangents like that. You know, cool stories happen naturally.
So I wanted to bring this up. Bob Lazar was on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about whatever. I like his shirt, by the way.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know exactly what they talk about. It says here context. It's got a wiki article for Area 51. He probably talks about Area 51 in the lake area that he worked at or whatever. Oh,
yeah, they talk a lot about that.
I have a story here, and I'm going to try to make this as innocuous as possible. So I'm not going to name names, and I'm not going to mention anybody, but I heard somebody that worked at Area 51 said that there is stuff going on there, but it's not what everybody thinks it is. And I can't, I'm not going to give names. I'll talk to you guys after the fact. I'll give you a little bit more information because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want them to get in trouble.
Well, one of the theories that I have about Area 51 and Groom Lake and shit like that, I sometimes I just think to myself, you know, it makes a lot of sense to let people think that we're fucking with UFOs when really we're fucking with something completely different. Because if it's the easiest misdirection in the world. You get people in like this froth mouth mood about UFOs. Oh, the government's hiding UFOs when they're doing something completely different. Something that's, you know, more quote unquote terrestrial. You know, maybe they're working on some new spy plane or some shit. But oh no, we're gonna have some guy come out and say, oh yeah, I was working on a UFO just a couple weeks ago. Then, you know, that gets people looking in a completely different direction.
Oh, I know how to do this. Hold on.
Yeah, well, it's probably what I heard is it could be some of the same scientists they took from, you know, Germany during the World War II there, and when they took them in
Operation Paperclip.
Yep, and they employed them there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of that was covered up, and they were, you know, Werner von Braun was a war criminal, but they were like, oh yeah, he's gonna get us to the moon, so they just swept all of his war crimes under the rug. He was the one who developed the V2 rocket, and the V2 rocket bombarded the fuck out of mainland England during World War II. So he had tons of blood on his hands, but because he got us to the moon first before Russia, he was an American hero after that.
Damn it! Ugh! I'm still trying to fix the audio issue. God damn it! Sorry, guys.
No, it's all good, man. So the link that you've got up right now on the screen, this one we've talked about before on the main podcast. This is a huge collection of thousands of documents. You can download all of these documents, the CIA's UFO documents. This is every single one of them that's been declassified.
Looks like the Death Star right there.
Yeah, that's the CD that they came on when they made a big run of CDs.
There we go.
Much
better when you can actually see it.
I think you can actually order this CD still. I don't know, maybe. But you can download the whole contents of the CD-ROM. Thousands and thousands of documents. Most of them, I'm going to tell you right now, I read about half of them. It's just them trying to figure out what the fuck to do with people that are calling into the CIA, sending documents to the CIA going, hey, saw a UFO, guys. And they're like, what the fuck do we do about this? Send a reform letter. Okay, thank you for your submission. We appreciate it. Blah, blah, blah. Sent out.
That's all it is, most of it?
Yeah, and then there's the internal documents where they're trying to figure out, okay, what are we supposed to do? They get a hold of us. What should we tell them? And most of it's like the same thing over and over again. Tell them to go to the Air Force. Tell them to go to the Air Force. Tell them to go to the Air Force. Because it was United States. It was the United States Air Command that ended up being in charge of all the UFO shit after the CIA was like, dude, you know what? Fuck this.
Here, let's look at one of these.
Yeah, and some of it's all blacked out already.
Let's see here. Dr. Thornton Page, a Department of Astronomy, Wesleyan University, Middletown, Connecticut. Dear Dr. Page, I am Mr. Strong's absence? No,
I
in
think it
Mr.
says
Strong's
in-
in
yeah.
Mr. Strong's absence, I should like to acknowledge receipt of the 14 essays which you so kindly sent to him. See, it's just
Yeah.
it's literally just a form letter.
Yeah, and there's tons of these.
This was released in 2010.
Yeah, it's like reading
Yeah.
the Fauci emails. Yep.
And if you look at the date there on the actual letter, it's 10th December 1959. And there's tons of these documents. It's just, oh, thank you for submitting this, blah blah blah. We'll get back to you.
Office of Memorandum, United States Government.
Yeah.
This is from what year? 1953. So
I think I read this one, and I'm pretty sure this is just a list of stuff that got sent to them, and it's just them making a record saying, okay, we heard about this, we heard about this, we heard about this, we heard about this.
Of incidental interest may be the fact that I can't even read that. National Aeronautical Association, would that be NASA? Suggested.
I think that might be the precursor to them.
Suggested politely and perhaps indirectly to Dr. Rydell that he disassociate himself from official membership.
Yeah. So Dr. Rydell it's a very common name in these documents. I read through so many, I'm sitting there like, fuck, man, this guy sent a shitload of stuff to these guys. Like, he was just annoying the fuck out of the CIA, and they're like, God, what do we do about this guy? Like, I feel sorry. Honestly, I feel sorry for the guys that had to deal with all of these letters coming in, because they didn't know what the fuck that was going on. They're like, I fucking know. They probably just said, okay, hey, Mr. Intern, come over here. Here's a stack of documents. Write letters.
It's probably some poor intern that had to reply to these, and he's like, what do I write? And they're like here, and they gave him like a thing that he just like copy and pasted onto like a typewriter. He's just like, okay,
Basically,
A non-responsive response.
Yeah.
The main thing I've gleaned from reading
Jesus Christ,
mindlessly, just like my brain felt like it was melting when I was reading these. The main thing I gleaned was that basically the Air Force, if anybody knows about UFOs, it's the Air Force, and it's not the CIA, it's not the FBI. And the interesting thing about that, so if the Air Force is the one that knows about it, and it's the United States military, following under Department of Defense, that means that the president will never know about it either, because while he is the commander-in-chief, there's that interesting thing called need to know. Even if you have a top secret or majestic, as some people say there is a majestic classification, even if you have the clearance, that doesn't mean you can open the document.
It's like that it's like that scene from Independence Day where they're like, if we had UFOs, I would have known about it. And the guy's like, that's not entirely correct, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
But
for example, I was in the military, and I had a secret clearance because I had to deal with crypto, loading it onto telephones and radios and stuff like that to keep it secure from some asshole trying to figure out what we were doing. So I had a secret clearance. Now, does that mean that I was able to read secret documents? No. That doesn't mean I was able to read shit. I had no access to that shit. I had the clearance, but it doesn't mean I could read it because I didn't have that all-encompassing important thing, need to know.
I had a conversation.
Yeah, just remember that about government people.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine right around the time of the 2016 election, and he's like, I'm just afraid that Donald Trump might win, and that he's gonna have access to all of the classified information about aliens. I'm like, that's the one fear you have about Donald Trump being president?
Man.
Oh,
Jesus
they never happen.
Christ.
Yeah.
But now we know they are real. They are real.
What,
or at least
aliens?
not recognized by any government that's our allies.
Well, we do have quite a bit of things that were released. One of them was by the Navy. You know, it falls under Department of Defense. All the FLIR camera stuff.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that real quick.
What else? They've worked with God, what's this fucking guy's John DeLong, the guy from Blink-182 who does the what the fuck is his thing? UFO stuff. For some
here we
reason
go.
I can't think of it.
Here we go. I'm gonna pull some of this up real quick. So I found this.
Okay.
This is from CNBC on YouTube. This is some footage of the of some of the stuff that the Air Force has released of unidentified flying objects.
Oh, it's Tom DeLong, not John. That shows you how long it's been since I've listened to Blink-182.
What, Justin Long?
So
no,
no. So Tom DeLong, he's got I think it's the To the Stars Academy or something like that. But the United States Army, they hired him and his group to research possibility of alien weaponry and alien technologies and stuff like that. Which there's been a growing interest by United States government, United States military in stuff that happens out in space, whether it's alien or not. And I think that's just due to this big push by people like Bezos, however the fuck you say his stupid name.
Fuck
and,
that guy.
Fucking Elon Musk and all these people.
Where you can get a seat right next to him if you pay money.
Fucking Jeff
Fuck
Bezos.
that guy anyway.
Jeff Bezos is going to space.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so I think that this big push by the military to find out about possible space technologies, I think it has a lot to do with this push towards let's go to Mars. We're gonna go to Mars.
Well,
we're all gonna have a better life on Mars.
one of the dumbest and best things that Donald Trump did was create the Space Force.
Yes.
Like it's really stupid, but it makes sense.
Didn't Biden say that he was going to get rid of that? I can't remember.
I think it's technically a branch of the Air Force.
Yes, it is. So
right.
As far as I know, he can't get rid of it. He could just defund it.
Yes. I kind of want to get a Space Force patch. I want one of their patches.
I bought a couple of Space Force shirts when that shit happened. It was fucking funny. I went to a family reunion with that, and everyone's like, "Whoa, how would you get that shirt? That's funny as fuck."
I have one of the coolest patches I own. I don't know what happened to. I don't know where it's at. It's somewhere in my room. I have a patch for the Chaz Police Department.
Oh God. Oh man.
Speaking of Jeff Bezos, I've got a bunch of these stickers. I'll send you guys one. God damn.
All right, so this last thing, this last thing here, this is so if you go to nuforc.org, this is the National UFO
link in the description.
Yeah, this is the National UFO Reporting Center. It's run by what's called MUFON, which is the Mutual UFO Network. It's a group of people that they research UFO shit. They take in these reports, and this is just a big log specifically for Oregon, since that's where the three of us reside. I thought that it would be more interesting for us to look at ones in Oregon, but it's just this huge fucking list. Like there's ones starting right here, May 18th, 2021, and then you go down and down and down and down, and it goes all the way back to...
I'm going to go into this Astoria one. Round white object traveled at a rapid pace from south to north at 1:05 a.m. and looked to maybe fall in the Columbia River, not like a typical shooting star, maybe a meteor, no sound. There is a ship anchored very near where it was. What is it, 3 seconds?
So most of the reports look like this.
Where did the reports come from? Like, where did that come from? Is that just...
So if you go to the National UFO Reporting Center main website, so if you click on that, you can go enter site or file report, and then
okay. So I can just make some bullshit up if I wanted to.
Most yeah. I mean, you could just drop whatever the fuck you want. So I mean, take these with a grain of salt too.
Yeah.
But this is it's just interesting, you know, sifting through this shit.
Wow,
Are some of these real?
This one's from a couple weeks ago.
Real? Who knows?
Yeah.
I've had some experience growing up on the coastline that me and my whole family have. And I'm not going to mention where, just for my own safety, because I do believe there's possibly a testing site out there. But I would say somewhere between Lincoln City and Florence, there's we've seen multiple things in the sky that's unexplainable back in the early 90s. And fast moving, extremely fast.
Have you guys heard? Sorry.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, have you guys heard the song from CCR? It Came Out of the Sky. That song is about an alien UFO sighting. Because if you let me pull up the lyrics. Yeah, go ahead and say your thing, Lloyd.
I think you and I discussed this a little while ago, actually.
Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Whoa, it came out of the sky, landed just a little south of Moline. Jody fell out of his tractor, couldn't believe what he seen. Oh, I'm doing a spoken word version of this. Laid on the ground, shook, fearing for his life.
Hat on, dude.
I have one of those actually. It's over there. No. It's like a newsy cap.
Yeah.
Fearing for his life, then he ran all the way to town, screaming, "It came out of the sky." Well, a crowd gathered round, and a scientist said it was marsh gas. Spyro came to make a speech about raising the Mars tax. Vatican said, "Whoa, the Lord has come." Hollywood rushed out an epic film. Ronnie, the populist, said it was a communist plot.
Yeah, see, and that actually kind of, that line about how Hollywood rushed out an epic film, that kind of reminds me of, if you look at the 90s, somewhere between like 1991, 1992, actually, it probably falls more along the lines of like right after 1989 when Bob Lazar came out and talked about that shit and everybody got all excited about UFOs again.
Sorry, I'm playing the song.
The next thing you know, you get all of this interest in UFOs, and what happens? You get all these movies. You get Independence Day, you get Men in Black, all these different movies come out all around the same time.
You had Communion with Christopher Walken, and you had Fire in the Sky too.
Whoa! Hold on. Men in Black was a documentary.
You know what? I bet it could be.
It's just like in the trailer for Unacknowledged, where Stephen Greer said, "What's the easiest way to hide something in plain sight?" Mm-hmm. Well, if you make something fucking really ridiculous, like Independence Day or Men in Black, where okay, now we're making it so over the top that they're going to invade the planet. Okay, that's just entertainment. Or
Mars Attacks.
Yeah, that came out kind of around the same time too, didn't it? Like,
yeah, that movie was hilarious.
So you make comedy, you make something ridiculous, and then next thing you know, people they're going, "Ah, fucking aliens! You're stupid. You're fucking stupid if you believe in that."
I own this song on vinyl.
Oh, sweet.
Sorry, I'm like, I know that. That's Willie and the Poor Boys.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about that lyric is that it kind of mirrors what I've believed for a very long time, that if you want to make something look fake, fucking start putting out movies. Just make movies about it, left and right.
There was a time where when I was going to church, and I had the pastor's wife was teaching the kids' church section, and I was there, and she was doing this whole thing about aliens and how when the rapture comes and everybody gets taken back to heaven, people are going to say that people are going to use that as a reason to say aliens came and abducted all these people. And I'm like, that's a little outrageous. You're teaching this to children?
No, my question is, so if I remember correctly, there was this fucking book series where they took people, but their clothes stayed behind. Why would the aliens want a bunch of naked people?
That was...
Wait a minute. Maybe that makes sense. Easy access to the butthole.
What is the name of that series? I know they Left Behind.
Left Behind.
They made a movie with Kirk Cameron, or a few movies with Kirk Cameron, and then they redid it with Nicolas Cage.
Oh God!
I remember walking up to the Christian bookstore that used to be in Beaverton, and they had a poster for it. There was a poster of Nicolas Cage at the Christian bookstore. I need to find where I can watch that. I want to see it now. Here, actually, I'm gonna pull a trailer up for it.
So my biggest question, I mean, we're on another tangent here, but my biggest question is, all right, so why in the fuck would your creator take you naked to the gates of heaven when the creator would know, all right, everybody there is going to be really goddamn uncomfortable? Nobody likes what they look like naked. I don't care how fit you are.
A lot of depictions of angels are naked people with wings, essentially. Here, let's we're just kind of going ADD on this today. Here we go. Let's watch. We're gonna watch a bit of this trailer.
With Nick, this is the one with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Hello. Hi, Mom. Chloe, welcome home. So is everything set for Dad's
This looks like
party?
Oh my!
He's a pilot. Of course, he's a pilot.
Can I buy you a coffee?
I'm waiting for someone.
This just
My dad.
This just reeks of like a really shitty like Christian movie.
Welcome aboard Pan on flight 257 to London. Flight time today will be 6 hours and 30 minutes.
I love you.
This almost looks like a mid-flight horror movie. It is. That's what it is.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, Nicolas Cage, of course, he didn't get taken to heaven.
Oh, both pilots did. He has to land the plane. Oh my god.
All of a sudden, the inflatable co-pilot, autopilot.
Oh my god.
I heard some doctors talking.
Wow.
It's not just here. It's all over the world.
Okay, that's enough of that.
It looks really, really bad.
I have to find it now. I'm going to watch it.
Holy shit.
I've never heard of it, so maybe it's that bad.
Oh, Nicolas Cage literally has no scruples when it comes to picking movie roles.
Yeah, no, he's been on like a big role lately. He's been making a ton of movies.
Here, let's
Gotta pay off that island bankruptcy.
Hold on. Let's see here. We gotta do this. We gotta fucking.
Is that Burning Man? Yes, it is.
But I know it.
Hold on. There it is.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast!
Okay. The scripting for that makes no fucking sense, and I say it every single time. Why is he screaming about his eyes when he's got them wedged shut?
The bees are trying to just crawl through.
I don't know why he's still talking. He speaks perfectly well for bees in his mouth.
Hold on. Let's we gotta do it again.
Not the beast! Not the beast!
I'm so sorry. Okay. We gotta get back on track here. We're at like 54 minutes now. Okay, link in the description.
To Not the Beast.
That's the only link. That's the only link people get is Not the Beast.
Oh man, that's got to be a soundbite.
I'm gonna make it a soundbite. I'll have a button for it here.
Yeah.
I've got a button for this one.
How dare you!
Or my favorite is this. I think it's let's see this
Come
one.
on, man.
Oh man.
Or bitch.
Yep.
Okay. Let's move on to segue. Okay, we'll go on. We'll move on to finally. We'll get to Teresa's thing.
Oh, yeah.
About an hour later.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes.
Okay. What do we, oh shit, buttons there. What do we got going on here? What the hell is this thing?
Okay, that thing is if anybody's heard of a guy by the name of Bruce Lipton.
That's not Bruce. Is that Bruce Lipton?
That is something somebody set up, I think, to get the kiddies' attention.
Like that's like half of the article is this picture. I'm sorry. I'm an asshole.
So anyway, hang on, let me get something here going.
Yeah, we got plenty of time. Take your time.
Anyway, we'll mention about Bruce Lipton. He's an American developmental biologist, notable for his views on epigenetics. In his book, The Biology of Belief, he claims that belief control the human biology rather than the DNA and inheritance. Lipton's contentious claims have not received attention from mainstream science, unfortunately.
What is he talking about? In this, what's it talking? A brief description of this article. What is this article about?
This article's about him speaking pretty much about the idea of the cellular membrane, cellular DNA structures, and how a lot of the science went for trying to understand the DNA itself instead of understanding the environment that the DNA is around, the magnetics, the force, what you want to call it.
Is this is in reference to coronavirus, correct?
Is that the coronavirus one?
Yeah, that's the link.
Yeah.
That's the link you sent me.
Yep. Okay, so there's another link. I'm going to send it to you. It's a big, long speech, about 2 hours long or so.
I can just pull.
And he
pull up
talks about this idea, and then from that idea, you can understand why he's talking about the coronavirus and why he thinks belief systems and how you feel is actually much better than outside science, pills, or anything that you can take. It's pretty much the placebo effect. But a lot of people talk about the no placebo effect as well, which is the negative and positive.
Here's a video I found. This is called Dr. Bruce Lipton, How to Reprogram Your Mind.
Percent of our life is coming from the programs of how to live life that we get in the first 7 years of life.
Yeah, so I'll mute that while you talk. Well, let this play. So he's saying that a lot of what's going on today with like coronavirus and like a lot of other things is all just your mind fucking with you, essentially, right?
Yeah, it's based on a fear factor. So instead of the placebo effect where you believe something is good, and that's all they ever talked about, he's talking about there's an opposite side called a non-placebo effect. And with that is the fear base. It's one negative to one positive, but it's the same thing. But they just don't really talk about that in medical science today. He said they only get like maybe a very short time medical doctors to understand and realize about the placebo effect. But it can go both ways, negative and positive. And when you base it on fear, he talks about how your body, your anxiety, your depression, all these weighing down on your system and how it functions. And then how your environment also helps change that as well. And it just goes back and forth between your body, your heart, your subconsciousness, and manifesting and changing things around. So he talks a little bit more in depth about how you can kind of change your reality, change your physics, and just kind of live a better lifestyle, live a different lifestyle that is more healthier for you. Just pretty much starting at the basis of your belief system, starting at the base of how you feel.
Oh, is this based on feelings?
Yeah, not like that, not like that, not like that. It's not like The Secret. It's
Okay,
not like that.
Okay, boomer.
Now, let me ask a question about this. Does this, for example, does this have to do with, say, for example, I have really bad allergies, right? Now, if I just, according to this, if I were to really believe that I'm not allergic to grass, would that help?
No.
Is that what this is getting at?
No, because that's your consciousness you're doing. You need to do your subconsciousness. He talks about.
You
But
have
your
to get rid of.
subconscious is already programmed.
You have to believe it in your soul.
So,
you have to kind of you have to make it the program. In other words, not the feeling. You can't look for it like hopefully have it. You already have to be kind of like living it, and then it will come to you the ways that you are accepting of changing that behavior in yourself. So
does this pertain to any affliction whatsoever? Like, for example, maybe somebody has acute appendicitis. Would this help with acute appendicitis, for example?
It could, yes. There are people who are extremely healthy, but their subconscious forms cancer. There are people that are extremely unhealthy physically, and yet they are the happiest they can ever be.
I've got a follow-up question. So, how is appendicitis cute? I can't follow that.
Well, I tell you, it's definitely not within the last year-ish. I got mine taken out because yeah, that really fucking hurt. I'll tell you that much.
Oh no, I've got a funny story about appendicitis. I'll tell later, but go ahead.
See, these are the questions that I need to ask about this kind of a thing, because I'm afflicted horribly by allergies of grass and tree pollen, and it's not something that I was raised to believe that I was
it's not
allergic
necessarily
to.
Your belief. It was your subconscious that programmed that, and you took beliefs from these talks about when you were 0 to 7. That's when your programming belief is.
I don't think that's how this works.
What I'm trying to figure out here. So I grew up in my early years, 0 to 8 years old, in the middle of a high desert where there was basically no grass. Yeah, no pollens. I mean, there was still pollen, of course. You know, the high desert's great for farming. There's pollen everywhere, but I was not raised with the belief that I had allergies. In fact, I was the first person in my immediate family that had horrible allergies when we moved over here when I was a kid. How is it that I was programmed to have allergies? This is the question I have about that. I'm not trying to discredit the whole thing. I'm curious.
There's different ideas that he talks about that could have been pre-programmed. New is bad, something is scary, and therefore something you recognize is having a reaction to it, a physical body reaction.
So when we moved here as a kid,
wait, what?
It was like one of the most positive things that we've ever done. We went from being dirt poor to having a very comfortable life, and we lived in the middle of the woods where there was no stress from a city. We lived on 4 acres where I could just go explore all I wanted to and have fun.
Yeah, there's no one way or one path for everybody to believe in a certain way, then this will happen, then this will happen, then this will happen.
I heard,
but that was just an example I wanted to offer.
I heard somewhere.
Does this mostly have to do with negativity leaching into your life, or is it just is positivity can make you sick too?
Absolutely.
I want to interject something here about allergies. I've heard somewhere, I don't know exactly where I heard this. I can look it up if you want. That your allergies can change. You can develop allergies to things later in life.
Yes.
Like you can become allergic to certain foods or certain things, and when you get older. And so like allergies are something that people are still researching, and we don't know a whole lot about.
Well, that's what Bruce Lipton was kind of talking about in the summit that I'm going to offer for you a little bit later on here. And he went through this and he talked to this at the summit. And he mentioned that when he was back in the 60s, when he was going to college, he was learning about stem cell research. It isn't new. He just said nobody's been talking about it. So when he learned about that, a lot of the people were looking at how the DNA changes. What is about the DNA? What is about that itself that's making the changes or growing? Instead of what he did, outside of his colleagues is he went outside. He said, okay, what's the magnetic force around this that's changing the DNA? How does the DNA reacting to the force around it? It's changing from that, the environment, not what's already built in, programmed into it. So it's
This
the environment that's helping change.
what I have up on the screen right now is this is a video that was posted in January of this year. So this was from a couple months ago, like 4 months ago. He was on a podcast and he's talking. The title here is "The Biology of Belief" with Dr. Bruce Lipton, and so he's still active in talking about this stuff.
Yeah, he is, and he said he's also a friend of Greg Braden, which really kind of shocked me because I didn't realize that they were together.
Can you enlighten us on that one?
Yeah, who is that person?
We can talk about Greg Braden in the next episode.
Can you kind of give just a brief overview? Because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't know that they knew each other, and you semed really
Yeah.
excited,
I
and now
have
you're
no
like,
idea
no,
who
we're not
this
going to
is.
talk about that.
So Greg Braden is, put it this way, he's an American author. Let's put it this way. Let's get a real capture real quick. He's an American New Age author who is known for his appearances in Ancient Aliens and his show Missing Links and other publications with science and spirituality. He became noted for his claim that the magnetic polarity of the Earth was about to reverse. So he talks about the divine matrix. He talks about the God code. He talks about the Isaiah effect. He has a bunch of different books.
Wait, hold the phone here. Do you have handwritten notes?
Maybe I do.
You've been holding back your notes on us this whole time.
No, I'm just kidding.
Like I write my notes on this thing.
Yeah, I just ticky tack tack on my loud ass keyboard.
So anyway, yep. So he's known for doing a bunch of stuff since, like, I am talking like the kind of like the mid 90s and on. He's been pretty popular in the science and physics realms. He talks about, the whole idea of the water too, where you say you love the water, you hate the water, you freeze the water, and see what crystals come out. So I think a lot of people have heard about that.
I've seen something about that, but I think that more has to do with other things. I'm not entirely sure on
They
that.
talk about basically it's same physics. It talks about the wave and it talks about the actual science-based frequencies.
I think you'll find, at least for me, I am extremely skeptical of New Agers, and the reason for that is that I grew up in a household that had, my mom is very New Age, and some of the shit that came through that house was just unbelievably stupid to me.
Oh yeah, you got to take things with a grain of salt, I know, but if you can back it up with some kind of science, particle theory,
right? And now, my biggest question with the New Agers and the Ancient Aliens people and stuff like that, I've watched some Ancient Aliens, and they will, any single thing that is brought up as a theory, they'll immediately go, it's very possible. And they won't critically think about it on the show. They just immediately say, oh, yep, this is what I believe 100%. They don't sit there and go, well, what if it was more terrestrial and not extraterrestrial?
That's one of the
I do
things...
believe wholeheartedly in aliens. I just don't think that everything has to do with aliens.
That's one of the things
New Age
when
stuff.
I was watching a TV show called Unsolved with William Shatner. And
oh God, he's a yes man.
No, it's interesting because anytime anybody talks about something, they don't have any proof. It's like, when I entered that house, I had this strong feeling. And it's all about their intuition, or like they're like, there's just a sense of dread. It's like, that's not something you can scientifically quantify. And so that's the problem with a lot of these like paranormal or like cryptozoology and that kind of stuff, is a lot of it is feelings. Like, I have a feeling about this, or I don't have any proof, but I feel like this is true. Like, that's the problem I have with all of this. You can't quantify it.
And
that's my biggest issue.
the reason why when it comes to like the ghost shit, I believe 100% in good documentation, good footage, good stuff. Like
That's
that clip we showed. I have good footage, I've got good documentation, all that kind of stuff. Because
That's
there's a lot of people who say this is haunted, and that's it.
Teresa. That's why I keep telling you we need to have links. We need to have proof.
Yes,
We need
I will get the link.
We need to cite our sources.
Yeah, the more documentation, the more
The next show, I will
credible.
cite sources for you guys. Absolutely, we'll have that together. We'll have it ready to go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
so like that's the thing is like I like to be able to be like
I'm
this is what I believe and this is why I believe it. And that's
I'm not
like
trying
I can't
to. Yeah, and I'm not trying to discredit anything with this Dr. Bruce Lipton or the other guy, which I already forgot his name because I didn't know who he was.
Oh, no worries. No, take it as a grain of salt. These guys have
when
been
it comes to it, this stuff is completely a 180 to the stuff that I've researched myself when it comes to biology and when it comes to physics or anything like that. It's like a complete 180, and it's completely different. And I don't know that the power of thought, while it is strong when it comes to like your own personal how you feel and like how you can make yourself better by pushing yourself and all that kind of stuff, I'm not sure that it can heal things like, and this is the reason why I brought up allergies and acute appendicitis. I don't think it could cure something like that personally.
I think there's a realm of so many things that we can't measure of what it can do, or it can do. I think we're just beginning that science to understand it.
I do
to understand the field it works within.
I do have experience in the power of thought and healing because like when in high school and throughout my like younger years, I grew up in a church where they believed in like the power in prayer and healing touch and like you somebody's got a problem, you get the entire congregation comes around, they put their hands on their back or wherever they can touch them, and then they pray for them. And they're like heal, and they say like through the power of Jesus and that kind of stuff. And so it's like a group thought thing, like a group of people like coming together in the same instance for the same purpose. Like I can't quantify any proof that it works, but it's a thing that does exist in other realms of reality. Other people do believe in the power of people and their collective thoughts.
Yes, I do think thoughts, spirit, whatever like that, whatever you want to call it. The unseen forces actually does have weight. It's when you die, your brain actually does weigh less than it did when you were alive. And just because
my biggest thing with the
that doesn't weigh.
Yeah, there is proof that when you die, you weigh like a pound or so less, and maybe that has to do with the electrical energy or whatever that's in your body. Because sure, you found 5 ounces. Okay, yeah.
So I wanted to bring that.
Well, how much does electricity weigh?
I wanted to bring this up because I actually looked into this once. Data does take up like it does weigh. It's like very minuscule. But so I've found this once. It's the entire internet weighs about 5 ounces. This is digital media. This is digital. It's stuff that doesn't exist technically in reality. But it actually has a weight, and the internet weighs around 5 ounces. So here it says, using the estimated storage capacity, the fact that an electron weighs approximately 9.1 to times 10 to the 31st power, or negative 31st power. I don't know. I'm not a math wizard. And the knowledge that there are approximately 400,000 electrons per bit, CAS 2007, although only around half of these are stored as ones, we can estimate that the internet now weighs around 5 ounces. This is as of 2018. So data and information has a weight. So the electrons that are going through your brain they weigh. And so you're right. So your brain has all this information, and once your brain stops retaining that information, it goes away.
So now do the thoughts and do they create matter by collective magnetism? That's what they're talking about.
I don't
So if
know.
you do that, you can actually maybe physically change
What's
and manifest reality.
I think
Manifest
there's
it.
Go ahead, Nick.
Can we take one step back real quick before the soul weighing and the electrical energy in a person's body weighing and stuff like that? The power of, you were talking about the power of the collective to make the one feel better, and I think that also has to do, we have undeniable evidence that as a species we are social creatures, and that if we do not experience social interaction for an extended period of time, it does cause a lot of problems mentally, and then that eventually does cause physical problems because you stop caring about this thing or the other thing. Like there's people that have been extreme isolators that end up stopping eating breakfast, or they stop flushing the toilet, something simple like that, because they lose this socialization with others of their own species, or even maybe even a cat could provide you with some sort of a socialization. I think a lot of the thing that makes people feel really good or even better, or even maybe like their whatever affliction they have physically is holding them back less, comes from this basic need for interaction, and the more interaction that they have gotten, it will make them feel a lot better. It's like when you go up to somebody and give them a hug, that makes you feel pretty fucking good. Both people feel really goddamn good about a hug. I don't care who you are. Like you can sit there and go, I fucking hate hugs. You're a liar. You like hugs. You know you like hugs.
I don't
Quit
like
lying.
hugs. I'm more partial to struggle snuggles.
Don't lie, man. You just like straight macking out with everybody.
You get a hug, and you get a hug, and you get a hug.
So, while I don't necessarily believe in the idea of like faith healing, for example, I do believe in the power of socialization and positive thinking and being nice to each other.
That's so.
Yes, I don't believe in somebody giving their power away to somebody, but I believe in somebody matching with what you're doing.
That's the thing, though.
Stress causes a lot of physical problems. I'm currently like, I've got my fucking neck, right back here on my neck has been sore for months.
Hold on.
I know it's absolutely from stress.
We're gonna.
There are people that get like diarrhea from stress. You know.
we are gonna take a minute here, and we're gonna pray for Nick and his neck. Oh Lord, we're going to just sit here and we're gonna lay our hands on Nick, and we're just gonna think about him. No, just...
Oh God, it's on me. Oh God.
Would you like some positive water?
But yeah,
positive water. I've got alcoholic water.
I definitely understand the impact that positive interactions and positive thinking, and meditation's great because you deal with your own problems and you release those issues. But I don't know for the idea of like faith healing. Maybe somebody who's like, you can't heal somebody's vision by praying about it, is what I'm getting at.
Jesus did, though. Jesus.
I don't think it's him. I think the whole Jesus thing, I have a theory about that, but I don't think it's actually
everybody does.
The person who's actually doing it to themselves. Not faith healer doing it to them.
The thing is about religion, I don't care about the backstory or whatever kind of like headcanon you want to have for your religious like leaders, or like the people that you idolize within the religion. Almost all religions are based on the same ideas, and they can all be traced back to the same thing. And that's the whole thing, is like most religions have a type of like healing that you do through prayer, and it's all based on like reality, where we can talk about that. And the reality is like, you get a lot of people in one place thinking the same thing. It's going to affect the, I'm going to use the term aura, but I can't think of the aura and the, like whatever's around you, like the physical space around you does. Yeah, the physical space around you does get like changed based on a bunch of people having the same idea.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I can go with that, because if you get
it's around the heart. It goes around the heart about 3 feet out. when it's the top, I've been told, and they can actually measure a wave, a circled
Like,
wave.
let's talk about something that I've got experience with. When I was younger, I partied a lot. And if you went to a party that sucked ass because a bunch of people were just being dicks to each other,
Bunch of dude
you
bros.
could fucking tell. When you walked in, you could tell.
Yeah,
but if you went to a party that was awesome, as soon as you walk in, you're just like, all right, this is fucking great.
It's like I said, that's not a quantifiable thing. You walk in, and it's like, I've got a feeling this is going to be a bad party. It's kind of the same thing. Like I walked into the house and I had a feeling of dread. The aura and this area, the space, can be and will be affected by the negative or positive thoughts in that space. And it comes down to can a negative feeling residually stay in a place? If there was like a feeling of dread or a feeling of hate or a feeling of somebody just having a bad time or somebody dying in distress, can that negative energy or that energy stick around in that space?
I believe so, but I think it can also be changed. And they talk about that too. They talk about having a haunted house, inviting a priest over, inviting a Wiccan over, inviting anybody who can overpower that.
I was gonna say that's like the rite of exorcism. You exorcise the negative feelings, and almost every religion has like an exorcism like type of thing that they do.
Yeah.
Now,
this is a fun conversation, and I like this.
Well, I've been told even the most natural way to get rid of something you don't like is to make love in that space, and nothing's more powerful than that.
Are we talking? Are you talking about sex or?
if you want to downplay that word, yes.
Let's Marvin Gaye and get it on.
Speaking of hippie shit.
See now. The thing that we all got to worry about is sometime in the next, 30, 40, 50 years, there's going to be a ghost in a house that's sitting there fucking like yelling about Britney Spears and like fucking crying in the corner, yelling, they didn't respect my pronouns.
No, Gen Z, the Zillennials, Gen Z is going to have the shittiest ghosts.
Yeah.
But it's not like the what is it, the millennials where we fucking got everybody got a fucking the blue ribbon for participation.
No shit. I was on T-ball when I was a little kid, and we lost every game we played. And guess what? We went to fucking ice cream every time. Oh, it's okay. Here you go. Have some ice cream. It's like
I found in my garage.
We still had ribbons. You may have had the last ribbon, but you still had a ribbon.
I found in my garage just recently my soccer trophy from when I was in elementary school. And it says Isaac Lewis, Dinosaurs won. Apparently there was multiple teams. There was multiple teams named the Dinosaurs, but we were the first.
That's like there's an episode of Letterkenny where they go into that like the local soccer team is going to be changing their name from the Chiefs. And everybody votes on it, and they end up naming them the Rough Riders. And so there's like 16 different teams named the Rough Riders, and they're like, "Well, I'm gonna vote. I bet on the Rough Riders. Well, I like a Rough Rider. I'll bet on the other Rough Rider."
Oh, everything's frozen. My computer's crashing. We're probably gonna have to call this a day soon. Because we're at an hour and 23 minutes now.
Yeah, we probably should work on next time. And
it's 6 o'clock, and I gotta be somewhere at 7. So
if he's not, then his slipper will change back.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Let's do final thoughts, and so we'll start with Teresa. Like, you have any final thoughts about what we talked about today? Anything you want to say to the people listening or watching at home?
Yeah, check out Bruce Lipton. I think he's kind of worth it. Check out Greg Braden. I think it's worth it. Grain of salt, but I would say just kind of be curious and listen to what they have to say. And you don't know how you're gonna perceive it, how it's gonna be perceived by your society. I don't know. Just check it out, see what you believe in, and if you like it, maybe we'll talk about it again and give us some feedback.
I'll do some research on him. Go ahead, Nick. What do you got?
I'm gonna be looking into that too, just to see what I can find out. But my biggest thing is the thing I'm gonna leave off at, with things like Dr. Stephen Greer or Bob Lazar or even Dr. Lipton. Let's not believe everything we see, everything we hear, everything that we read. Let's do our research first, and then if everything actually makes sense, if it's something that we can actually understand, then let's believe in it. I think that you should definitely do your research first.
Trust, but verify.
Yes, absolutely. Especially fucking Jesus Christ, Dr. Stephen Greer. If you're watching this, what the fuck, dude?
Hey, I'll be out in a second. I'm doing something right now. Oh, my buddy just knocked on my window. Like, I'm recording a podcast.
He wants to use the bathroom. Get out of there.
No, I actually do have to pee though. So all I have to say is the internet weighs about 5 ounces, and I think next time I'm gonna have something a little bit more substantial than talking about Frank Olson Frank Olson. Like, comment, subscribe. Go ahead and hit that thumbs down button twice. I'm not gonna say it because Scott's not here, but make sure to do this thing. So definitely, if you like what we're talking about, we'll put some links in the description so you can do a little bit more research yourself. If you're listening on one of the podcast platforms, find the YouTube channel. It's you can go to seriouslycast.com or beyond.seriouslycast.com. We'll get you to the playlist for these episodes. And my computer's freaking out again, and I don't know how this is going to look. Oh, you've got a sticker.
Woo! Yes,
Right.
y'all need to have one of these. They're great. They're wonderful. I love these.
I'm actually going to be ordering some more of those probably tomorrow. And so if anybody wants a sticker, please direct message me on Twitter or direct message me on YouTube here. All right, cool. I'm going to play the outro, and we can we'll have a conversation really quick between the three of us afterwards. See you guys later.
Bye.